that's even my problem with a lot of Filipino Americans, Filipino Canadians, Filipino foreigners. I hear this a lot, and it's because we don't know who we are. It's hard to like intertwine and tangle into a new culture and have it be a healthy relationship, because at that point you're more one than the other, as opposed to like sharing that identity and having, I guess, a healthy amount of pride that doesn't get weird and toxic and become like a mess in your brain. What do you think about that?
That's crazy. Yeah, especially with the way that I was born in the Philippines and I grew up there for a little bit, and then I had to move to the United States, and everything is different. And now I'm trying to learn a whole nother society, like another culture within a new society, and it's hard because my parents are traditional. So what do I believe in? What do I follow? I know for sure growing up, I would joke around with the Filipino accent, calling my, the fob, the derogatory term.
Yeah.
Like I used to call myself that religiously and point people out for that because it was so normalized. And I was just making fun of everything because everyone else was, until I grew up and realized like it's funny, but at the same time it's actually really insulting for especially the more older Filipinos who just moved here. They don't know any better. They don't know the English language that well. And they still want to uphold their own traditions, and that should be respected, not made fun of,
Tama.
And yeah, that's why I was thinking like, who am I really? Am I ashamed of myself, or am I just embracing my culture in a funny way? It's such a weird concept to grasp in terms of identity, because while I'm here trying to still adapt to the American culture and as well as all the other cultures, because actually all throughout high school I was taking Japanese classes, so I loved integrating into the Japanese culture, and I became more receptive to other cultures, and that taught me a lot on how we're all so different and so unique. And then I only realized in college why am I so interested in all these other cultures, and I never really took the time to learn about mine. So that's what really inspired me to be more in touch with my own roots and start backwards, like what you said.
Mm-hmm. That's a really important process, because I echo the same feelings. Okay, so the first thing that I thought about when you were talking there was, you're talking about the accent and like being fobs. That I am very guilty of. And I realize now, because I'm older and learned more, it's harder to see other people's perspective, especially when you think that you're the same, because you're like, oh, they're fobs, or they're Filipino, or they're Filipinos too. So I automatically know their experience. No, I don't. Maybe my parents would have a really different perspective, and they do. And I had to think about this big picture. A lot of people don't do that though. My brother taught me this, and it's, when we have conflicts in my family or whatever, and it usually is because of the difference in culture and generation. I get stuck so much in like, oh, this is how I want it to be. This is how I think, reality society be. And maybe I'm right sometimes, maybe I'm not, but that's from my perspective. And I have to like shut my brain down and say, hey, what if I had their brain? Let me like put on their hat or whatever. I instantly notice like, oh, that makes more sense now. They were born in this time, and this was like the material condition of their era. That's not my experience. I have to learn about that more. That's why I think it's really important to do that backwards learning, like I said. And now that I'm in the classes, it helps my perspective so much more, because I'm learning from people who are sometimes like in the close proximity to like what they experience, and I can ask questions and be curious and find out